What is up, everybody? This is Christopher at Vegan Creator Con. I'm here with Justina and Torre, and this is a little bit of an impromptu panel. I'm getting a head start on the Creator Playbook Mastermind session that we're going to be doing at the end of tomorrow, but I just want to get started now. So I appreciate you giving me some practice on this. So really, the focus of the Creator Playbook Mastermind is figuring out strategies and best practices that will set creators up to get the traditional success that they're looking for: growth, subscribers, monetization, all of those things, but also at the same time propel the vegan community forward. So I guess I'll ask like the first question: if you could get everybody, whether they're doing fitness, nutrition, activism, just any niche, any category, what would you get them to maybe stop doing that would help out the vegan community? And then what would you get everybody to start doing?
What would I get people to stop doing? What would I get people to start doing for the vegan community? I don't know what I would necessarily stop people from doing, but I would want them to start really digging deep into like what is authentic to themselves and like what they have to offer and what are their gifts, whether that is fitness, whether that is just comedy or cooking, you know what I mean? Like if it comes from you naturally, that is like the place to start. And maybe stop doing things that you think you're supposed to do, you know, because I feel like we do get into that pressure zone where we are thinking about numbers, we're thinking about acceptance, but that only comes when you are truly being yourself. What do you think?
You basically said
what I was
going to say, because when you started with start, and I was thinking, because the start actually creates a stop. So I would stop making people think that just because someone else is doing something, they have to do it. You know, because if they're stop listening to other people just because they seem to have a say based on what their personal experience was, because their own personal experience does not relate to your experience. Because just like someone can say, I did 10 squats yesterday, my legs, I didn't feel it. They probably don't realize the actual form that's maybe improper or however they're doing it. And so if they stop doing the wrong form and start doing the right form, they can get it done properly. So the same thing, just like you said, start being your authentic self, really what works for you, and stop trying to just be like everybody else.
I would also piggyback on that and say consistency. Like I feel like social media, there's like, I'm bad at that. I'm hoping after this weekend I'm better at that, because you can burn out and, you know, trying to figure things out and you think it's going to happen overnight. But if you're consistent about it, just like going to the gym, you don't get abs within a week, right? Unless you're lucky and you're crazy. I'm not like that, right? And it takes time and you have to learn it. You have to fail. You have to figure out what did work. And it's just a trial and error.
Beautiful, guys. I love that. I guess I still want to push and be a little challenging. My intuition tells me that there are some things that we could do that will, if we can get everybody on board with just a certain set of things, it would really make a difference. So just thinking about just all the vegan stereotypes, right? And look, like we all have different opinions. Like you're an activist. I'm pretty like vocal myself, but I guess there's just certain things that people say. It's like, oh, vegans like. You know, you've heard it all. Right. I know I get sucked. I was talking to you about this story yesterday. I get sucked into some of the lower frequency conversations in the comment sections of platforms and stuff sometimes. So, yeah, like, are there things that you can think of where it's just like, man, if we could just all align and agree not to, take certain bait or respond to certain creators? Yeah, do you think that do you have any thoughts on that at all?
I do. I've learned that, like, if you engage in the toxicity, fuck it. It's good for the algorithm as long as you like don't cross boundaries. You know, if someone's like attacking the animals, then that's different. If they're attacking your character, who cares? Don't ignore that. But if they're attacking like animals and like fighting for animals' lives, then you're like, come on now, you sound crazy. So, and I would say we need to stop fighting each other. You know, like. In every community, in every niche, there is a lot of like fighting for yeah. And I'm like, why are you? This is not about you. This is not about me. I've had to shut down so many people. I'm like, who are you talking to? because we are not the enemy towards each other. You're gonna do things your way, I'm gonna do things my way. As long as we are actively trying to save animals, that is it, you know? So that's the only thing. Like, infighting is so stupid. It is a waste of time to like talk to the trolls, but engagement will continue to rise, and it's a conversation. Sometimes we have to talk about nasty shit and say things off of our chest, and you never know. The nastiest people are the people who are really like battling their own inner demons in the switching lanes route.
No, I agree, because when the trolls come on, I tend to, engage with them, just a little bit, because what I've noticed is, even though I engage, like you said, it's good for the algorithm. It increases the amount of eyes that view what's going on here, and there are those who have an open mindset and think, wow, this person is onto something.
Yeah.
I really want to check it out, and so they'll go check it out, even though the troll brought them there. So to a certain extent, that, continue doing that. I find it fun. It's really, it's fun to just be like, thanks for the compliment, I appreciate it. And just keep it moving. But the infighting, like you mentioned, this is something I remember talking about this like 10 years ago. Like, it was even bigger then, about I'm this and I'm that. You're not righteous enough for this because you don't do it this way. And so all of that infighting caused, division.
Right.
And that division doesn't keep us correct. And that's what we need. We need to have strength in the community, and more we come together and recognize we all have a common goal. That in and of itself can help drive the community more. It's not about my way or your way. It's the way.
Love that.
I love that. All right. I don't even know how much time we have left, but next question. All right, just for context, Steve Jobs would bring his like top 100 people to a like a retreat event, his top 100 Apple employees, and then they would come up with a list. What are the most important things that Apple needs to do? And then he would say, okay, now assume we only have time and capacity for 3 of these things. What 3 things are we choosing? So of all the different things that we're trying to accomplish, whether it's like ending government subsidies or just like, I don't know, just pushing vegan nutrition. If there's like 1 to 3 things that everybody can kind of align on what's like really important that we can be fighting for or promoting, can you think of what a good priority would be for the vegan cause?
Do you want to go first? Off the top of my head is just showing up. I think like there are so many missed opportunities because we're like, I am only good at this, because I also felt that way. And like I was telling you that like I'm an emotional person, so like actually standing at a vigil or actually protesting, it took me a while to get there, but it makes a difference, and it like helps the community so that other people don't get burnt out, because it takes an army, and like your voice does matter, even if you don't say anything, as long as your presence is there, because numbers do matter. And if there is a group of people standing behind 2 people that are like saying it all, that is so encouraging. It's important, because the people who we're fighting against say, okay, it's not the same 5-10 people that are showing up. There's like 20 or 30 or 100, and that makes a difference, because standing up for what matters, even though you're not comfortable in it, I think that's something that we need in the vegan communities. Like, drop the knives, show up to the protest, or like show people the recipe, even though you're not a chef. Like, venture out so that you're not just one-dimensional. You're not a one-dimensional animal activist. You can show people that you're a person. You also eat. You also buy clothes. You also do so many things. Did I answer the question?
No, yes. So top 3 things I would say is, number 1, win, right? So what I mean by that is, I'm in the fitness industry. So when I'm on stage, if I'm not winning, no one's watching.
And no one
But if I'm doing well, they're like, huh, okay, he's not eating animals, he's for the animals, but he looks really good.
Right.
So that in and of itself drives attention. Second is having fun with it.
Yeah.
If you're having fun and people see, like you said, living enjoying your life, doing the things that you love to do, and it shows people that it's not a strict negative feel, and they don't get negative or bad energy. It's like they want to be around it. And third, I would say, is almost on the same lines of almost be more inviting, because we tend to be very exclusive. If you're not, it's kind of like people with their religious practices, that if you're not of my said religion, then I don't hang with you. So I think when you are more inclusive with others that aren't actually in the same genre that you are when it comes to your food, the way you live, it actually invites them into your life. And so they want to see what you do, and kind of it makes them feel like, I want to do more. Because, I have clients that aren't, but then they get this idea that I really want to go to a vegan restaurant. I want to go check things out, because they like the idea, because they see me and they see how I live, and they see that. And a lot of times when they see that we're vibrant and just glowing, they're like, there's something here, and they want to just learn more about it. So those are my top three.
That's a good one. I would say like inclusivity. That's for sure, because vegans have stages, right? Like we get angry, we get complacent. Like I think just being open to where people are when you meet them, and just encouraging them, and being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. The vegan community can be super elitist sometimes, and you're just be vulnerable. Let them know you were not born vegan. There's a journey, and say, be proud of them, because people want to feel good about themselves. So you have to acknowledge the good that they're doing, and that there's so much more good that they can do. So we need to stop that shit. Right. We need to stop being mean. Because I was mean. I'd be like, oh, honey, that's not vegan. And it's it's not. But I hope that I can find it now to be oh, this is a vegan honey substitute, or you know what? Let me talk to you more about honey that you may not have known about before. Just, what is it, sugar instead of salt? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I like salt though.
All right, so there's so much to unpack with all of this, because just bringing back the original focus is we're trying to come up with a playbook, right? For everybody to follow, no matter what stage they're at, whether they're just hobbyist creators or not even creators, but just they're active online and they interact with people. So, there's a few different directions, right? On the one hand, it's engage with the trolls and just don't let them walk all over us when they're spewing the misinformation and the lies and all this stuff. On the other hand, we're talking about being more exclusive and leading by example and winning, and really just being on top of your nutrition, your fitness, your wealth, your relationships. So, can you really describe a balancing act between just kind of engaging with the bullshit, but then also just, I guess it's it just sounds like vegans just need to just kind of be chill, right? just be non-reactive, I suppose. It's feel everything, react to nothing.
That's difficult. That's beyond veganism. It's just humans.
Is it possible to have it both ways, where we can deal with the conflict,
right,
but at the same time be everybody's friend?
Do you want to be everyone's friend? No, just kidding. I don't know. It's tricky, because veganism, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of ugly shit that's happening, that it's kind of difficult. It's you can't talk nicely about abuse, right? Whether that's with children, minority groups, the elderly. It's difficult to be sweet and kind and patient with that. But there is a time and a place, right? That's something I'm trying to work on. And it's when you see people, let's say vegan, they're restaurants, for example, right? There's a lot of talk about a lot of restaurants closing down or switching from vegan to non-vegan. And it's if people just say their vulnerable state of their struggles, we will support. I remember seeing something about this owner of a coffee shop, and she was crying and she was asking for help, and everyone showed up. And I think if more people say, hey, I need help, I need support, the people who can and the people who resonate with you will support you. So it's you could talk about the ugly with open arms, welcoming people for help and support, and that's kind of a balance. It's you could be all yay, but when you're struggling, whether that's mental health because of what we surround ourselves with, or needing help with your business, if we are vulnerable with that, we can see the trolls and also see the helping hands that want to help and just allow the good flow to come in. Does that make sense?
I see what I think I know where you're going, because dram, the dramatics work. When it's dramatic, everybody's engaged. They want to watch it and see what's going on. So I guess that could be a place where, because everything has its place, right? In this world, everything works, and it works for a certain demographic. So if you wanted to come with a direct, blunt, you know, way of doing it, it'll work, because there are those who receive it that way.
Right.
So yes, we can have inclusion. Yes, we can have, winning and doing all that. But you also can have the ones that on the lower frequency, just like
That's me. I'm a crier.
Yeah.
We need Danny Moss.
Yes, you need those people that are doing that. So, it has its place. But I think what we discussed earlier is bashing those who aren't doing it that way.
Right.
So if you got that lane, take
Right.
control of that lane, and then I'll take control of this lane. So we have all the lanes covered.
Right, because we're just trying to get reach, and people do hear differently. We're visual learners, we're audio learners, we're kinesthetic learners, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm definitely dramatic. Just because I'm super emotional, I just truly can't help it. And there are people who hear me because they genuinely see the pain that I have in my heart when I think about the reality of the world. Some people don't respond to that. And I think, which is why we're here, collaboration is important, because if we find people who balance you out, maybe someone's more calm and more, can give facts and like bring the science in, and you're more speaking from your heart, that's a good balance. We could talk to different communities at the same time, giving that message.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's Ed's Socratic method, right? Where he just asks the questions back,
Right.
and then and there's people like Simon Hill who just kind of like, he can debate, but he can do it and just have all the answers.
Right. I think we also need more art. I think we're forgetting about art, and we keep thinking that we're just supposed to talk and talk and talk and talk. But I think people want to just be taken on a journey through art, whether that's visual, on screen, because that's where I found, that's my first passion. Well, animals and art. And I found myself being able to listen and see different perspectives through art, without being told by one person, like, this is what I think. This is a whole other world that I'm immersing myself into. And then I'm able to be like, wow, the person that I hated, now I know why they are the way they are. Like Joker, for example, like we love him after a while. And it's like, you have to see everyone's journey in art form to be able to go, wow, maybe I relate to this person, or now I see this differently. And if we used veganism in different art forms and not just like talking, like we can create short films.
I mean, they're usually the bad end of a joke.
Right.
Like, as much as I love like How I Met Your Mother, for example, like 4 or 5 times you just see just crazy emotional vegans just acting nuts with the laugh track. But
That's where we come into play, and we need to make veganism, like, we don't even have to like say veganism. We just authentically have vegan people who are not wearing it like a freaking badge, that just so happen to be like, don't kick that dog, are you crazy? Or like, yeah, we're gonna go to that vegan restaurant, it's so yummy, just casually throwing it in there. It doesn't have to be a thing. It is a thing, but it's like just totally a part of life. And if we want things to lean in a certain direction, it has to be normalized. Make vegan cool again, or make vegan cool.
All right, so last question. You're allowed to give like literally, truly, like one actual order to all the vegans who are doing content creation in the world. What order would you give all of them?
Don't stop.
That's kind of like, I would say, show up, like you said, and just keep going, because everybody has their story and someone will identify with it.
Yeah, be on the right side of history, because sooner or later it's gonna be so normalized. There's no way. I mean, like, the numbers are there, and like we see it growing. Like, we don't see advertisements with vegan companies like 10 years ago everywhere. You know, like it's happening, it's going, and it's like we just have to be a part of the right side of history and have fun with it, like you said. Because we need fun, because it's not fun of what's happening. It's not. But we need to like show that it's not fun and be like, now we're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, because people want to be in the fun group, right? At the end of the day, that's what they're motivated by more than anything. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.